Welcome to Game Plan Sunday. Today is May 23rd, 2021. Had a really interesting, super choppy week in the markets this past week. A lot of, traction on, Bitcoin and crypto, that was all over the headlines. Meanwhile, in the equities, everybody's getting chopped up. We're seeing the commodities starting to take a breather finally because they've been going out of this world on inflation fears. We was able to see, some more, economic data and, more speculation from all the economists and the financial wigs, about this inflationary environment or deflationary environment. We're actually all in this science experiment in live real time, right? So nobody actually knows. We have all our schooling, all of our, theoretical training, but you got to understand the markets consist of human beings. That's us. Okay. So the market consists of us, humans, and humans are rational and emotional. And so it is difficult to, to actually know, we use statistics and things like that in history to try to figure out, what is happening currently and what is going to happen in the future. And history is a great teacher. Trust and believe me, history is a great teacher. I've been spending a lot of time in actually learning a lot of history that I probably should have learned in high school, but I was busy in the music game, so I wasn't paying attention. But now I'm extra on it, and there's no way that we could actually get away from speaking about politics in terms of economics, because politicians, they control the environment in which from which we make money, and so we have to talk about some of those things. Those are some of the things that we had going on in the markets also, with regulations from the government bodies, SEC and things like that. We got Yellen, we got Powell, we had the minutes release. So a lot of things, popping on the website, on the news feed. So when you guys actually, before I even kick this off, when you guys log in on the website, it should take you to your dashboard. And when you're on your dashboard, okay, you got access to pretty much everything for your dashboard. All right. So you got the courses, if you need to get some training, you got the discussion forums, you have the social groups, and you have the news feed. But down here, you can see, a little breakdown of everything. This is Chris. He just posted in there fundamentals set up in here. And so this is for your research. You can go in there, check out, what he contributed to the group. So shout out to Chris for that. Thank you, sir. And then you can see all the members. Make sure you connect and network with other people. You can see who's active, who's not, who's popping, who's not. You can see all that, and you can add them and stuff like that, like you do on social media. But anyhow, every day, get into the habit of going to the website and then going over here to the news feed. All right. This is, all through the day. You want to know what's popping, man. Like bingo, right? News feed there. You can hit the news feed over there. Like those two places, you can hit that and make sure that you're, on top of what's happening in the market. This is like how you're going to figure out like, what, why, and who, and when, and all of that. All those questions that people be asking all the time. A lot of times people don't know, what is happening. They want to know. So we try to have an informed community. That's what I hope to continue to produce over here, is an informed community. So we have knowledgeable traders and people that know what the hell is going on in the markets. Okay. The best way for you to do that would be just going and checking the news feed, right? Being in the chat room is awesome also, because you can be in here all day, every day. And, again, most services, they charge, $300 a month, $400 a month for the chat rooms. Ours is free for our community. So make sure you're utilizing that resource on a daily basis. Get some ideas in real time from other traders. So we're in there live, so I'm in there, other people are in there. So just, come hang out. And I'm trying not to be so nerdy sometimes, so we can cut up a little bit, especially when Topaz show up, because she show up and Mia show up. Oh my God, we just be super turned, you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, we get some turn up time, you know what I'm saying? So make sure y'all holler at us in there. But anyhow, so here goes some of the headlines, and we'll go over the numbers that I got over here as far as the equities and everything. So the big talk in here is about, inflation being transitory. Okay. Since the last game plan Sunday that we had, nothing about the markets or the economy has changed from my last projections or forecasts. Everything's actually been right in order. We've been looking at all the leading indicators and all the statistics that has been coming out, and everything is still the same. So you really haven't missed anything. What is happening is that you're actually living the things that we were able to talk about months ago when I was telling you guys about inflation is coming. and what that means. So we see prices going up all over the place. Okay. We had gas shortages also, and that was crazy. And so that is going to continue, but what the big talk is, in the bond markets and everything what they're watching is because the Feds are saying that the inflation is going to be transitory, meaning that, yeah, we expect for it to be hot right now, but then it's going to go away. It's going to go down. And, should that happen, they're going to be calling for more stimulus. Okay. So they're going to keep on trying to stimulate. And if you guys look in the Legends and Gurus group, I'll post them. Let me actually go over there to the Legends and Gurus. You can go in here, or you can actually go in the search bar menu, but I'll just show you guys the Legends and Gurus. So I don't know if you noticed or not, but these are the Legends and Gurus. Okay. And then the stuff that they're talking about, their analysis and stuff like that. You can go and pick and choose which guru you want to, to follow, or if you have any insight on these gurus, their portfolios, their holdings, their 13Fs and all of that, you can actually post it in here yourself also. Okay. So I don't have to be the only one. But you can see in here, let's see, Dr. Burry, right? Michael Burry. Okay. He was talking about this months ago, about this whole inflation thing. Because the Feds keep on, and the government keeps on this inflation thing because they're claiming they don't see it through the CPI numbers. They're going to end up cooking the economy. Okay. I'm hearing a lot of deflationary people, people that's, calling for deflation, the deflation crowd. So there's a split between, a lot of the economists and stuff that's watching the markets. And you got to understand, we talk the economics because the traders, they're paying attention to it. You got the investors, smart money is all paying attention to it, right? So we've got to figure out, this is how we get our direction. The stock market is signals. We get in direction so we know how to deploy capital. But the inflation crowd is saying, oh, we don't see any inflation, right? And we haven't had inflation since, after the great financial crisis. We haven't been seeing it. But I don't know what planet they live on. Everything in life is freaking more expensive, okay? Everything is super expensive. Everything is overly priced, okay? And it continues, even the housing market is astronomical right now, okay? You have people that's, spending cash buying houses, not even mortgage. Okay. They're just buying cash and they're bidding up the prices of homes. So that makes it harder for people who trying to buy houses and they don't have the cash. So all of these things are happening in real time. So they claiming that they don't see it because of the way they measure the CPI. Man, listen, those numbers, the CPI numbers, they change those things all the time. It's not the same CPI numbers that they had in the past. They take a basket of goods and, and then they try to weigh it. But it's it doesn't correlate with reality. And you can't deny your real world experience over some freaking numbers. Like, forget the numbers. This is real life. In real life, everything is going up. So we've been talking about this for months. But anyway, Dr. Burry, you guys can see right in Legends and Gurus, right? Got a couple of his things in here, his analysis and stuff like that. And before that, before the SEC paid him a visit, because they were saying that, he's scaring people and stuff like that. He need to stop talking about, the stuff he's talking about. This is the guy who called, the housing bubble in 2008. If you haven't seen the movie The Big Short, make sure you go see that. Do yourself a favor and see that. But this is the guy here. He's still out here in the markets, right? And he's calling, for inflation. And he's also calling for hyperinflation, right? So these are the things that he was talking about. So if the Fed's going to keep on claiming they don't see it because the CPI numbers are not showing it, they're going to keep on stimulating. So it's kind of like, drug addicts, getting, getting an overdose because you actually don't even need, all this stimulus. The economy don't need it actually, but, we can get to some more into the economics, but basically the Feds, they do not want deflation by any means necessary. They will continue to inflate at all costs. They're going to continue having the prices of things going up. They fear deflation. You have to go back in history and see, the Great Depression and things like that. But the problem is the stimulation. We have an over-indebted economy, unlike any other time in the past. And I know that Terry, he was asking earlier about, hey, man, the market's been super choppy. How do you navigate through this environment? And I'm going to be real with you, okay? I tell this story to you guys all the time. I talk about when I was a kid, I used to love studying ants. And it was because I learned that Napoleon, a great general who studied ants and built formations from ants. So ants are really, smart creatures. Anyway, I used to study ants, and when I used to sit here and watch the ants, they always had this order. They had this certain order that they would, march in formations and stuff like that. And I would do stuff like just take my finger and just mark across the line that they march in, right? And I just take my finger and whatever chemicals is in my fingers, whatever it is, it throws their scent off, okay? And so it makes them lose their direction and what they were doing. And so you'll see the ants, they'll start moving. As soon as I do it, they'll be moving kind of crazy, like, oh, what's going on? Like, what just happened? Like, they're just lost. And then they start going crazy, like, they like just going crazy, right? And eventually they will find their way back. And then they will go continue to do what they've been doing. Well, the economy is like the same way, okay? The natural markets is just, consumers, people in the marketplace buying and selling goods, right? And less regulations, less government intervention and interference in the markets, you have a better economy. And this is the reason why America has thrived under capitalism, because of freedom, but they continue to put more regulations and they're slowing America down. Where you see China, they don't have no damn regulations, right? But that's why the economy is booming, right? So that's what it does. But the regulations, it slows things down. But understand that when the government intervenes, it's kind of like what I did with the ants, and I marked my finger across their path. I threw off the direction. And in this market that we're going through right now, the direction, nobody knows, because the feds, when the government shut down, locked down the economy, and all these experimental things that they're doing is throwing entrepreneurs, people, it's throwing, businessmen, it's throwing everybody who's making the economy run, it's throwing them off because they don't know how to calculate prices. They don't understand how to forecast properly. And so it's kind of like the wild, wild west right now. Okay. So that's why you will see some of the legendary investors like, Jim Rogers and, those type of guys, they're like staying out of it. They're like, I'll leave that up to you geniuses to figure out, because it's too much. Like, we can't figure out what is going to do what. But we're also seeing all these imbalances in the market. Is there opportunity? Of course. It's always opportunity. That's where the opportunity comes from. It comes from someone else miscalculating, somebody having a wrong forecast, somebody having a right forecast. That's the way it works, right? And so I believe what you're looking for is, more of something that's like seasonal, like in the markets, in this time of the year, what normally was popping. You got to understand, we're not in a normal market. Okay. Under normal conditions, yes, we can predict this thing a whole lot better. But now, a lot of companies, they're just now trying to provide guidance. We don't even, a lot of the guidance and the forecast from financial models we get from the companies themselves, from reading the financial reports. They tell us that they're expecting 5%, sales revenue growth over the next 2-3 quarters or what have you. And we can actually build those numbers into the models, and we can project, future cash flow, models and stuff like that. So all these signals that will normally drive the economy in a more logical fashion, it don't really exist right now. It's like the wild, wild west. We're trying to find out where it's like the ants, they're going all crazy. But eventually the market is going to compensate for these imbalances, and then it'll get back right. The government can't fix these imbalances, and they know that. That's why they have to have some sense of freedom, because the participants in the market, they're going to figure it out. Like, we're going to figure it out. That's what we do. And because of capitalism, we have a profit loss system. This is the most efficient system there is. And there's rewards and there's consequences for bad behavior. There's a punishment system. You don't need a government to give you rules for that. A lot of people think that you do, but you actually do not. The natural state of man is free. And so the economy, that's why it thrives more when it's free. But the people in a capitalist society are the judge. Where you buy and shop, where you spend your money, you're choosing the winners. So there's no more fair system than a free market. So it's crazy to me how people be talking about, the free market or capitalism, this, that, and the third. Like, no, capitalism is more freedom. A lot of times what they get confused with is cronyism, and cronyism is not capitalism. So I say that one more time. Cronyism and capitalism is not the same thing. Some of them call it corporatism or corporate cronyism or corporate socialism or fascism. We're in a more fascist society right now. America is. Where you have, corporate nepotisms, politicians picking and choosing the winners and setting up regulations and rules that prevents competition from those people. So therefore, they develop monopolies, or they develop superior advantages, super advantages over other people. We just saw with the lockdown. Government do the lockdown, you can't open your business. However, unless you're designated essential business, you can't make any money. So the government, actually, it wasn't COVID, it was the government. And they always say, oh, it's a good intention. Well, the road to hell was paved with good intentions. The good intentions don't matter. All right. Because again, the markets always will figure it out. But because the government intervened, they set winners and losers. So small businesses got crushed. Amazon and Walmart popping. Right. So that's just the way it works. So when they be coming out talking about, yeah, we'll spend $15 an hour minimum wage and stuff like that. I mean, of course you will. You got everything on your side. But a small business, and I talked to so many small business owners out there, and they'll tell you, man, I can't afford to be paying nobody $15 an hour, bro. Like I wouldn't made it be in business. It's crazy. So anyway, but that's what's actually happening in real time. And this is the economy. This is everything. And then the stock market is trying to take these signals and trying to make the best out of it. All right. In the speculative bubble that we have right now, and I know that you said that a lot of the swing trades haven't been working over the past few weeks. You're right. It's been a day trader's market. It's been super choppy. If you guys know, we be in the chat room. We watch the markets pre-market before the market opens. We see what's happening, in the futures markets and everything before in the pre-market. And we see what's happening throughout the day and then after the market. And so that's what we're covering in the chat room, all through the day. So like, again, make sure you are in the chat room every day. Okay, you could do it from your phone. There's no excuse. I'm telling you right now, you could do it from your phone. You don't even need an app, because you just go to the website on your phone, just store it on your phone or whatever, and you can come right in here. Like last night, Topaz was uploading charts and things, charts and everything from her phone right there. So you could do the same thing, right? But that's what we're covering, what is happening in the market. So you'll see days of the markets that open up, down, then end up popping up, right? And then they go back down. And that's a choppy market. So we'll take a look at that when I throw up the charts here in a second. So, as far as what else we have popping in here go a couple of articles that you guys can check out on the site. Oh, I forgot to tell y'all, yeah, I was banned from Facebook. I told you guys that, and I just got back on Facebook right after being banned on there. And like I told you guys, this is how I really feel. And on my website, Wallstreet Jackboyz, I can say what the fuck I feel. Okay. All right. So somebody tell Facebook and the Zucker bitches that I do not need no motherfucking help. OK, this is what they be doing on Facebook. They want to tell you how to say it, what to say, how to say, and all of that. I'm like, bro, this is what I posted. I said what I meant. All right. It was already posed as a question. I don't need no help, Facebook. You don't tell me to format it as a question. It's already a question. All right. So anyway, that's how I feel. But that's why I'm telling y'all, come rock at Wallstreet Jackboyz and get off that control matrix. All right. It's all the matrix. All right. So Zero Hedge posted this: stocks are falling to 1968 analog. Listen, make sure you get your research on. Check out these articles. We don't have enough time on Game Plan Sundays for me to cover it all. So make sure you check these things out, and we can actually continue the conversations right here on the website. Topaz go over Ray Dalio, Wall Street's oddest duck shares the Bitcoin mine. Ray Dalio, he posted an article about Bitcoin maybe a month or 2 months ago. It's on our website. It's actually in Legends and Gurus under his name, because he's one of the gurus. So you can check it out. His actual whole analogy charts and everything. I was telling you guys the same thing about Bitcoin. With the whole Bitcoin situation, I like Bitcoin. I like what Bitcoin represents, and that's what most people like. Okay. Now, for those that don't understand, Bitcoin is basically a big middle finger to the government, to centralized government. Okay. It is, hey, we are having a revolution and we can get around the government, right? And that's kind of like basically what it is. All right. You got to use your common sense. The government is never going to relinquish its power to anything, and the two cannot coexist. I posted this on Facebook in the group. Bitcoin and the digital dollar, or whenever the digital currency comes out that they're going to do, they would not be able to coexist. And then the government is not going to compete with Bitcoin. Okay. And that is the power that the government has. Bitcoin has other advantages, but the advantage that Bitcoin doesn't have is that it don't have the ability to sign things into law, make it law. The government can make you use its currency. And that's the power that the government has. Even if the currency is BS, it's fiat, it doesn't have no backing or nothing like that. And so, with Bitcoin, like I tell a lot of the hopefuls out there, because again, you subscribe to the hype. Everybody subscribes to the hype. And it's always the same when it comes to technology. Pay attention, people. A lot of people get sucked into technology. These technology schemes have been going around since the beginning of time. And technology always over promises and under delivers. Pay attention to what I'm saying. Technology over promises, under delivers for the most part. Okay. And so what I mean is that you can't compensate for certain things, right? Like everybody talking about 5G. I've been paying for 5G for like 2 years. I had the first 5G phone that's out there. 5G has added no extra value in my life that I didn't already have with 4G. I promise you. I'm on 5G when I'm in traffic, B. Why do I need 5G when I'm in traffic? I don't need 5G when I'm in traffic. I was fine with just 4G, to be honest. You feel me? It's technology. It's the next breakthrough and everybody's going crazy. Cool. All right. But also with technology, the first iteration is never the lasting iteration. They always improve on it. And with technology, because it's on the internet, anybody can just do coding. You know, anybody can do coding. One of my engineers from the music game, he used to help run sessions with me when I was in the studio stuff as an engineer. He got a cryptocurrency. He's out in Africa right now, you know, touring and trying to promote his cryptocurrency because he can write the code. All right. Soulja Boy got a cryptocurrency. Akon got a cryptocurrency. Everybody and their mom got a crypto. We can have a Wallstreet Jackboyz cryptocurrency if you want to. All right. But the thing is that, and I didn't even bring my freaking book over. I should have bought it over here. We talked about this. I posted on the website. Murray Rothbard, you know, what has the government done with our money? He explains to you what money is. And, you know, money isn't just some arbitrary unit of account. I mean, you just can't just assign something, you know, and say that it's money. Like, okay, I'll go this pen here. This pen is worth $10 because I feel like it. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to understand the origin and how money, you know, how gold and silver became money, how we got to a fiat system. You got to go back even further, you know, how the barter system was, how was direct exchange to indirect exchange? How did that whole phenomena, you know, get created? And so I'm not going to talk your head off about it today because we're going to get to some of these charts, but I'll post it on the website so you guys can understand. Most of us have no training or understanding of money. So I promise you, I will teach you guys a class on money just so you can understand what money is. And basically, money is a commodity. It has to be a commodity. That's the way money have always been. It's a commodity, right? So, but we'll get into more of that. But there's another theory called a subjective value theory. And Bitcoin is like an experiment of this subjective value thing. And basically, it's just saying that if you believe that it has value, then it has value. So we can make anything value, right? But there are things like gold that has objective value, meaning that it has value that's non-monetary. You know, people use it before it can become a money. So it has to be a commodity so you can have some kind of objective value. So this is how we get prices and things like that. Bitcoin is coming on to a monetary system that already has prices. OK, so it's not like it's, you know, coming from scratch. Right. So the whole monetary system, we can talk about that all day. But just understand my training as an Austrian economics. This stuff has been, you know, in the books from the smartest people in the world, you know, since the 1800s. You know, Carl Menger, Ludwig von Mises, all these guys, they've been already talking about this. You know, Murray Rothbard is the student to one of the guys I was telling you about. We've already gone over this. And a lot of the Bitcoin guys who's pumping Bitcoin, they are familiar with Austrian economics. A lot of them got some training from it. But they're experimenting with the subjective value thing, where if it's in your mind, then yeah, it's got value because it's in your mind, right? But it's more technical than that, and it's a huge debate. So we got a couple of those debates that's posted on the website, so make sure you guys check that out. Ray Dalio, in his, just give you a summary about it, when you go to Legends and Gurus, and he talked about it, he was saying how basically because of the distortions in the market, smart money normally, you know, puts money into bonds. Okay, so think about it. Bonds is a safe haven. Bonds is safety. Okay, if you can make some money safely, okay, let's say 10%, right? Back in the day, you could make 10% off of bonds, right? That's just you just exchanging money for an IOU receipt. The government's going to pay your money back. Plus, you're going to get some interest, and you didn't have to risk nothing. It's guaranteed because it's from the government. The government's going to be around. So that's why it's the safest bet. So you talk about safety, you talk about bonds. So you can't get, you know, skip bonds. Most people don't understand bonds. So make sure when you subscribe to Wallstreet Jackboyz and the courses up here, we got this timing the markets freebie. It's a bonus class. It's a class I did a while back for you guys. And if you were there live, then great. But I had to keep it because it was such a great course. And it's a bonus class when you actually get the master class. It's a free class. You can understand the market cycles and stuff like that. So I teach you about bonds so that you can understand for trading purposes, why we pay attention to bonds. Okay. So if you can sit here and make a generous interest just by giving the government your money and it's guaranteed, that's safety. Okay. But when you stocks and stuff like that, you don't know. It's speculative. So, it's more risk, but the rewards could be greater. Okay. But in this environment, the government has suppressed interest rates to zero. So you can't make nothing. You're not making no money. And then inflation is high, although the Fed's claiming it's transitory. No, the interest rates are so high that inflation is so high that you can't make no interest doing safety. And so that's a signal that investors use, and they will take and what they would normally put into bonds, they now have to move that capital somewhere else. They have to invest their money. It can't sit in cash because inflation is eating it up. So you have to have whatever inflation is, you need to hit that number just to break even. So if inflation is at 4.2%, then you need to be, whatever you put your money in, you need to be making at least 4.2% just to break even. Okay. You ain't even made no money when you factor in inflation. So there's no place else for money to go except for to take on risk. And so you have investors that's been going, pumping the stock market up because they have nowhere else to go. And also they have been going over into cryptocurrency, experimenting with cryptocurrency. Now, a lot of them, Wall Street, you got to remember, man, listen, all these guys on Wall Street was talking shit about Bitcoin when it first jumped off. Okay. Trust and believe me, these guys have special interest in pumping Bitcoin, but you don't understand it. So understand they were all against it. Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank, listen, Mark Cuban, all these guys were totally against it, talking mad shit about it. Now they're like #1 pumpers, okay? And it's amazing to me to see these guys capitulate off of it, but they got special interests. Mark Cuban, he want to have his Bitcoin at his stadiums. He sees a use for it. Kevin O'Leary, if you watch Shark Tank, Mr. Wonderful, he always got a little scheme. So, just pay attention to, these guys definitely want to pump it because they got special interests. So that's why they pumping it. Elon Musk been pumping and dumping crypto crazy. Listen, the guy was already in position before he pumped it up. That's how he made all his profits. And then when he dumped it, he's already out. So you can't be making decisions off of following somebody. I tell you, stop blindly following people. When we first started Wall Street Jackboyz, listen, we was popping because people wanted to learn. If you want to learn the game, you got to learn the game. But people don't want to learn how to read charts. People don't want to learn how to, understand the analysis, the fundamentals, or the technical analysis. So when Bitcoin started popping, a lot of people just shift over to Bitcoin because the strategy there is no strategy. You just buy and hold. You can buy and hold. That's not a strategy. And so again, like I tell people, I'm not against Bitcoin. I told you I like what it, stands for because it's decentralized and all the other stuff. But, for my training, it's not money and it can't ever be money. So that's my thing. And the biggest threat to it is the government, and it can't coexist. The government is allowing it to exist right now because it is facilitating the government's job of mentally adoption of digital currencies, digital money. So you start to accept this digital thing. And when the government roll theirs out, they're going to straight up outlaw Bitcoin. We already see China been outlawing Bitcoin and stuff like that. So, but can you make money off of Bitcoin right now? Cryptos, all these cryptos? Yeah, you can. So again, speculate, make your money, but don't be one of those people that's just hold the line. That's not a strategy. You need to know your target. You need to know your percentage of, when you're going to get in. Listen, I had so many people calling me when Dogecoin was popping, because I've been gone for a couple of weeks, right? Man, so many people calling me man, I made a killing off of Dogecoin, man. I made a killing. No, you didn't. If you didn't realize the gains, then you didn't make shit. You realize the game is that you need to sell, okay? You can't just sit there and buy and hold because then you haven't realized the gain. You're still in risk mode, right? So, but if you bought and you sold it at the top, then yeah, you good. You feel me? You made your money and then you go on to the next play. That's how you do it. And so that's what I tell people. Again, I don't advise you do what you want to do. Okay. But the sensible thing, the logical thing to do is to have a strategy, have a plan. Okay. Know your target to get in, know your target when you're getting out. If you don't have that, you don't have a strategy. I see all these Bitcoin experts out here. I'm talking about people that's 16, 17, 18 years old giving advice. It is just astronomically retarded. I can't even explain it. And then you have people that's supposed to be smart, you think they were smart, they could be capitulating. You know, they don't even understand, right? It's interesting. There's a lot of these finance guys have no background in economics, you know. And then when somebody's talking economics, you got to make sure that you understand their schooling. Okay, economics is not just some vague, you know, one-sided, you know, schooling. There's so many different schools of economics. So if you listen to economists, you need to know which school of economics they come from, because that's their belief system. Okay, it's just like religion. You need to know their belief system so that you know what they're talking about. All right, so you know the ends. But anyway, speaking of economics, man, I got this book right here. My man Ron, he got one. This is right here. This is Henry Hazlitt, again, Economics in One Lesson, for those people that want to know about it. Definitely, Ron, he got one. And then Jonathan is in here tonight. So because Jonathan is in here, it might be on Audible, Topaz. I'm not too sure. But I know Jonathan is in here. And because Jonathan is in the chat room all day, every day, it don't matter if nobody's in the chat room, which is right here. My man Jonathan is in there faithfully. So because Jonathan, you know, is in there faithfully, he's posting charts. You know, he's like, hey, listen, coach, you don't have to do everything. Like, we in here, B. He's like, man, you listen, you taught me the game. I know all this. Like, come on, I got the charts. Let's go. I post it. What's the plays? He in there. So because he in there, he popping. Jonathan, I got one of these books on the way to you, homeboy. So on the website, you know, in your direct messages, just send me, you know, send the address, you know, right up in there. All right, hit me up on the in the direct messenger right there in your DM, and I got one of these on its way to you. And Topaz, you too. Got one for you too, Topaz. Because Topaz in there. Topaz, you should turn. I got you. So I got one for you guys too. Definitely. So shout out to my man right there. Another huge shout out to my man Terry. Listen, Terry's been rocking with us super hard. And you know, Terry, he been in there, but he ain't official. But today, Terry, you're gonna be official. So hit me up in your DM. Make sure you got all access to the website. Yes, sir. On me, scholarship, homeboy, because you in there, and I appreciate people just showing up. All right. This headline right here, posted by Topaz. Again, this is participation right here, right? She posted this here to let y'all know NVIDIA had a 4-for-1 stock split. Okay, so that pop in NVIDIA right here, boom, posted that. All right. Bill Ackman, he's also in the Legends and Gurus group. I got Bill Ackman SPAC deal right here that's getting ready to pop off. Okay, what, you know, how Bill Ackman is moving. You know, Bill Ackman, I call him the Wall Street. I call him the golden boy of Wall Street. That's what I call him. Yeah, he's the golden boy of Wall Street. And you know, he kicked off crazy with the capitulation of the market last year in 2020. So anyway, this is a article here on the newsfeed. Check it out. You know, you see how he's talking about how he's up in Domino's Pizza. A lot of people have been sleeping on Domino's Pizza, right? And again, to all my New York homies, I know how it is because I lived in New York, and I know that y'all, you know about your pizza. And I've been telling people, Domino's, listen, they had a 360 turnaround, bro. They took the E off the name. They changed the entire recipes. They got a crazy UI and UX as far as ordering that's like no other. Everybody used to be on Pizza Hut. You need to get rid of that trash. You know, every time I used to order from Pizza Hut, man, they'd be like, listen, we don't have a driver. You're going to have to come up and pick the food up. I'm like, bro, it's been a whole hour. Y'all couldn't call me and tell me that? Like, I'm done with you. From New York all the way to Carolina, that's consistent with Pizza Hut. But Domino's never failed, bro. I done had them. They came out. They didn't even deliver certain routes. And they were just like, yeah, I'll drop it off to you. Cool. Domino's, you can order a pizza on the block. It's crazy, right? And the food is good. But anyway, Bill Ackman, okay? You see how he holding with Domino's. So that's one of them. Check out this. Just click that read more. It's a whole lot in there. Check that out, okay? Also, we got the 13F. I believe it was Chris that was hitting me up about the 13Fs and stuff like that. Chris, make sure you post that intel when you get it on the website. I'm gonna show you guys how to use the website so you can conduct your research, and make sure you reach out to one another and just communicate. We got the live chat rooms. You could do instant messengers on the chat room. You got right up in here. Let me just go down. You could do instant messengers to each other live. Okay. What y'all don't know is that we also got video calling in the website itself, in the chat room. So you can just, once you like do an individual chat, you can just hit the little, you know, if y'all decide that y'all want to do a video call or whatever, you just hit the little video button and then you're into a video chat right on the website. So just keep that in mind. The website is a resource. That's when I rebuilt this. This is what I want it to be, and I just need for y'all to know how to use it. So anyway, how Buffett, Einhorn, Ackman, and others adjusted their portfolios. It's showing you how the big dogs have been changing their investment philosophies during this crazy, tumultuous time right here. So Terry, this might be really insightful for you. Okay, you see how these, how the hot boys are. We call them the hot boys, right? Because they the big dogs, right? How they popping out here. All right. Soak the rich to pay for social spending. Biden's tax plans don't add up. This right here is another article you guys should check out. I'll give you a brief little talk down about this situation that in this economy that we have right now. History is a good teacher. Okay, I'm not going to talk your head off too much, but just give me like 3 minutes. All right. History is a good teacher. In this economy that we have right now, remember, I don't know if you guys remember the roaring 20s, 1920s. Okay. And you remember we had the Feds. The Feds was created before we got the 20s, right? And then we got to the 20s, and then we had this boom. Okay, we had a big boom. We even had Black Wall Street in the 20s, all right? Even black people was popping. I mean, everything, it was a super bubble, okay? And that bubble came down in the 30s. We got the Great Depression, okay? And that was from a housing crack. The housing bubble just popped, and it was mayhem. And they couldn't get the economy they couldn't inflate the economy back up. So it was a depression because nothing that the government could do could revitalize the economy. And so Franklin Delano Roosevelt, FDR, he was the president in the 30s. He took over after Hoover. When FDR came in, and a lot of people know FDR, in terms of politics, the Democrats hold him up to be as like the greatest president ever. And so a lot of things in society changed from FDR. The whole entirety of the United States changed from the time of FDR. Understand this. I have a historical timeline chart of American historical timeline. I can share that with you guys if you want to see that. Where I went back and studied the whole beginning of America and all that, right? Economics, everything, okay? But with FDR, this guy served 4 presidential terms. Okay, there's nobody who's ever served that long. 4 presidential terms. It was a huge thing in his time that they was calling him a fascist, and they was saying he was a totalitarian. He was, because it wasn't designed for anybody to serve that long. Okay, but he had served 12 years. Okay, but he started his 4th term, but he died prematurely. I think it was like 70 something days, and he ended up dying in his 4th term. Okay, but in the the first 8 years of his economy. And the reason I'm telling you guys this is because the history is a guide to where we're going. Okay. Understand everything that Biden is trying to do it's already been done. He already had the blueprint from FDR. And so the expectation is that he's going to have the same kind of outcome as FDR did. Right. And so when FDR came in, they call this guy FDR, Mr. Soak the Rich, because that's what he did. So a lot of you don't know. Okay. A lot of y'all think things are normal, like paying income taxes, right? We're all young. We all believe that we're supposed to be paying income tax. And when you tell somebody, oh, you shouldn't be paying, they think you're crazy. But there was no income tax before FDR, right? They try to tax, the wealthiest people, but it never worked. America used to generate its money from tariffs, from trade, okay? But when FDR came, he's trying to save the economy from deflation, okay? From prices going down. Houses lost like over 25% of their value. It was crazy. You've seen the food lines and stuff. So he's like, we got to figure out a way to inflate the economy. But you got to spend, we got to have somebody to pay for it. And so it's like, we're going to make the rich pay for it. And so he raised the taxes crazy high. They call this guy Mr. Soak the Rich. So he raised the taxes crazy high, and he basically created welfare. So all the welfare programs came from FDR. For those who don't know your history, before FDR, most black people voted Republican, but it was after FDR when the blacks switched over to the Democrats, because that's what they do. They the government, they basically bought votes. They buy votes, making promises of free money and free this, that, and the third. And obviously people are going to want what's free. So just like we see right now, people getting all free money from stimulus and, unemployment and stuff like that. So it's the same kind of thing, right? But FDR, for the 8 years, his first 8 years, okay, the economy, unemployment was double digits, okay? After even taxing the rich and all of this stuff, it did not stimulate the economy. It was actually, all those plans were actually basically failures. It did not stimulate the economy. It wasn't enough money to pay for all this stuff, but it was war that saved the economy. So in his third term, that's when he got the war, World War II, where basically the whole situation popped off with Japan, where we basically did some things to them. I'm not going to go into detail on that, but we provoked them, and then they bombed Pearl Harbor, and then that is what set it off, that gave FDR basically kingly powers to just do as he pleased. And that's what he did. But that created a lot of jobs, because you needed people to create the weaponry, the clothes, all the stuff. That was what actually created the jobs. But he's also did a draft. So a lot of people got drafted into that war, and that changed unemployment. So you'll see when you look at the charts, you see all this stuff taking place. And he, basically created corporate nepotism, favoritism. That's why they was accusing him of fascism, the same style that you saw with Hitler and stuff, because that's what was happening. The unions, he had the unions popping off. But anyway, so that's Joe Biden's plan. It's basically a copycat of FDR, and they're thinking they can do the same thing. But this economy that we have now is totally different, and so the outcome would not be the same. Anyway, check this out right here. This is another article that's in there. All right. So we got a couple of things on Bitcoin mining. I know somebody said they was mining Bitcoin from their phones. Like, I don't even know how you do that. I know some guys who actually was mining Bitcoins with computer setups. They got whole houses full of computer setups, and they got out the game because they were like, they couldn't compete with China. China got whole warehouses, bro. Like, they got warehouses of computers just mining. There's no way you can compete with that. And if you're not on solar energy, your electricity bill is just going to be out of this world. So Bitcoin mining it hasn't been lucrative to, guys in the US trying to do it. Here's another list of top 20 large and small cap free cash flow companies. For those who look into the fundamentals, this is in the fundamentals group, so you can see those top 20 groups. And this is from courtesy of Barron's. We also got the insiders, the top 20 largest insiders. You want to know the insiders, what they're buying, like the company Joanne up here at the top. Like, this is stuff you could take a look at. All right, this is on the website. Here's a seasonal thing here for you, Terry. I know he's asking about like what's popping right now. Hurricane season starts June 1st. All right. So energy markets are set for the 6 month. You can just read the rest of that. Just know that people are starting to get ready for hurricane season. So you take a look at what hurricanes are going to be coming. What should I be preparing for? Let's take a look at some of those stocks, and then take a look at the technicals to see if they align with the story. Okay. Hurricane season come over and over and over. All right. So those are some things that you can keep an eye on. All right. Cool. All right. So yeah, Chris, we'll go over that article. We can definitely talk about that. Topaz posted earnings coming up. So let's actually take a look at what she got here. Monday, we got Target. We got, we got, who else is popping? It's a light day on Monday, huh? Let's see. Yeah, America's Car Mart. Okay. And then, but Tuesday is going to be a little more popping. We got AutoZone. We got City Trends. We got Cracker Barrel. By the way, I did eat at Cracker Barrel last week. That was pretty good. Don't eat the grits there. The grits are super watery, bro. You can't do the grits there. Do not do that. No. Nordstrom's, they're going to be reporting, let's see, Wednesday. We will have Dick's. We have NVIDIA. So Wednesday is going to be popping because NVIDIA is there. Okta, Snow. Yo, these are tech companies. These are tech. Workday. Listen, all of these tech companies, this Wednesday is going to be a popping day. So I don't know what's on your schedule, but yeah, Wednesday is going to be a popping day for earnings because these are big boy names right here. All right. Dick's, Abercrombie Fitch, all of that. Okay. Thursday, we got Best Buy, we got Costco, Salesforce, Dollar General, Ulta. I know you women like shopping at Ulta, man. That's crazy. Make sure you go visit Ulta, fellas, so you understand why women get lost up in there. We got TD, Viva, Burlington. So Wednesday and Thursday is going to be the highlight of this week. Friday, you have Big Lots and Hibbits. It's going to be a pretty light day on Friday. As far as in the calendar, which I can take a look as well, we got some Census Bureau data coming out, conference board release. This is all on Tuesday. What else we'll have? The National Association of Realtors pending home sales data is going to come out on Thursday. You guys already know we get the weekly unemployment numbers that come out. We have the Commerce Department. They're going to be reporting durable goods. We'll have Friday, the BEA reports of personal income and expenditure, so we can see where people are spending their money at. The Institute Supply, Chicago Business Barometer for May. All right. So that's that. Let me actually just show you guys the bonds, and here go the yields chart right here. And this is the yield curve. This is on the website too. So you go to search menu, just put in yield spread or yield curve, and it'll pull up the chart for you guys. It's a public chart, so you can share it if you want. But taking a look here, for those who don't know, the gray line here is what the Feds is controlling, and the blue line is basically the free market and the bond market. So the 10-year yield in its short-term term. We're looking at long-term and short-term yields here. And let me move this out the freaking way. Okay, there we go. All right, so I got the 30-year here also, but we don't need the 30. I just had that 30-year so that I can see this target, that TD Security. This is TD Bank. They have a 2% target on this 10-year, this blue chart right here. So they're expecting this thing to go up to 2%. And so I always keep that handy on my chart when I see what the mainstream views are on these things. I have my own views, but then also need to know what mainstream views are. So I'm gonna take this off so you guys can see that the Feds, when we talk about the Feds artificially suppressing the interest rates, this is what we're talking about. This line right here, okay? And you guys can see the pressure that's been put on it, okay? They're pushing it down, and again, this has a chain effect because it's so low. Banks and everybody else, they can borrow money for that cheap, and so of course they make their money from charging interest rates. So the lower this is, the lower interest rates is for pretty much everything else, right? But the oracle is the bond market. This is the bond market, and they are thinking about inflation in the future. Okay, they're always thinking forward. So understand that when the prices of bonds go down, this chart right here goes up. Okay, so the price, this is not bonds. Understand, this is yields, bond yields. This is the interest rates, okay? But the price of bonds, you can look at TLT or some other ones, ZN in our chart. When those prices go down, this price goes up, this yield goes up. And then when the bond goes up, then this chart goes down like this, okay? So bond prices go up, yields go down, all right? So that's been a major thing here to keep on paying attention to, because this is where we are. And you guys can clearly see this trend, and they're continuing to price in inflation, okay? Although the Feds are claiming that it's going to be transitory. So there's talks that the Feds are going to raise, they're going to have to raise the rates, okay? But Peter Schiff, he said it the best way. I don't know how he says it. This guy's the king of analogies, but it was good. He said, if you have a headache, but your only aspirin is a handgun, will you use it? I thought it was, geez, I'm like, what? If your only aspirin is a handgun, because you can shoot yourself in the head and you just end your headache, right? But who's going to do that? And so that's what he's saying. He's basically saying that the Feds, they're not going to raise the interest rates because it would be complete collapse of the economy. But I think that what some of the speculators are saying is that the Feds is probably going to slowly ease it up instead of they think they can try to ease it up sneakily. I think that's what they think, but I don't know. I don't think they're actually going to be able to do it for the same reasons that, Peter was talking about, because the people are overly indebted. We have too much debt. Okay. Too much debt, corporate debt. Debt is still crazy, and this economy is still sluggish. It's stagnating. Now, what's interesting, when we take a look at this, everywhere I went, okay, I saw hiring signs all over. And I've been traveling for the past couple of weeks, and everywhere I went, restaurants on the road. I mean, have y'all seen that? Y'all seen hiring signs all over? It's like hiring booms all over the place, hiring signs all over. And they're not hiring for what they normally would hire for. They're hiring the lowest I've been seeing is like $12 an hour. I've been seeing from like $12 to like $20 an hour for like Jack in the Box, Taco Bell, Burger King, Bojangles, like $15 an hour for working at fast food restaurant is crazy. So these guys still talk about inflation don't exist. Listen, this is inflationary, okay? Because those costs are going to get passed on to consumers. Now, these restaurants that are hiring for these higher wages, they don't want to, but they don't have a choice to, because demand, as the economy is opening back up, they need help to help them to keep up with the demand. But they have not been able to hire people because they have to compete with the government. And this is why the government doesn't need to be in the market, because it's messing up the free markets. It's messing up what the entrepreneurs are trying to do, because the entrepreneurs could do it themselves. But no, the government want to be in, and the government is giving people really nice sums of money to stay at home and play video games. Now, this has a negative impact on the whole entirety of society, because as the economy opens up, people are consuming goods and services. But this is what you have entrepreneurs there to actually take care of for you, but they can't get the help because they are competing with the government, who's giving these crazy, unemployment and these moratoriums, rent moratoriums, all kind of stuff, these regulations. And the question is, when will they ever be able to let it up, right? So we could be looking at universal basic income. This is what they've been wanting in the first place anyway, to keep people hooked. And, who in the hell wants to go to work at any restaurant where you can make more money sitting at home playing video games? Like, logically, like if I was in that position, I would do the same thing. So I'm not here to blame anybody. It's just, that's what the government is facilitating. They're creating unproductivity, and the permanent unemployment numbers are still super high. This is like problematic. And so these are some of the things, these are the things that we're going to be talking about over these next coming weeks, so that you guys will know what's, coming down the pipeline. Like, this is what people are talking about. And today I just saw an article here where I'm at in Charlotte, in North Carolina. The governor was saying that he's passing some kind of new regulations that for people collecting unemployment, they now have to look for jobs, and they got to submit some kind of paperwork to show that they're actually actively looking for jobs or something. I don't really know how it works, but he's changing new regulations because now they got people hooked on the candy. They're trying to take the candy away, but they don't want to do it in a way that will hurt your feelings. They want to kind of, push you, push you in there slightly, like, listen, you got to do this. And then hopefully, because you don't want to do it, hopefully, you would, you'll try to do those things. And if you get a job, now you got to keep the job. So then you'd be upset because you're like, yo, you messed up my whole vibe. I was making money over here. I'm smoking trees, playing video games, bro. Like, I'm good. I'm trading crypto, you know what I'm saying? Like, but now I got to go to work, you know what I'm saying? Like, who want to do that? So they don't want to do that, outright, because they don't want to piss people off. Because again, this is why I said we can't separate politics from economics. And that's why I had to talk about it, even though it hurts some people's feelings. It's not that I want to, but there's no way that we can escape this conversation. Okay. But this is what's actually happening. He said that's what's happening. They're giving nurses bonuses. Yeah. I mean, I saw it was McDonald's giving people like a $400, $500 bonus just to, to fill out to apply for the jobs. Like, what is going on? This is what I'm telling you guys. We have never seen anything like this ever in history. So nobody actually knows. Nobody. Everybody's trying to forecast. Everybody's taking risks. Like, how we taking risks? Don't nobody know. I use my economics training, my trading training. I use all that I can, the resources. I share it with you guys on the website and stuff. But I don't know, if I make the wrong decision, I'm going to pay the costs. I got to pay for it, But the government, they don't pay nothing when they make bad decisions. We pay for it, taxpayers. Okay. All right. So that's how we're looking over there. Quick run up here on the markets here. This past week, this is what we had in the pipeline. Gold was popping. All right. So, I got the dollar up. Let me just keep the dollar up here real quick. Okay. So you got to understand this situation right here, where the charts are on the dollar, it is not good for the dollar. Okay. So the dollar, you guys can see that it's been coming down, and boom, we hit this floor. It bounced up. It came into the 50 moving average, and then it got rejected, and it's coming down now. We have a sell trigger. That arrow says, boop, sell. Okay. So we should see this come down more until it gets into the oversold territory. It's not there yet. And so I'm thinking that should we break this level this week, okay, that this is going to have a psychological impact on investors, because this line has been there, okay? And this is going to be a new low if we break this. So I have reason to believe, because the way this chart is set up, that we're going to hit new lows in the dollar this week. I'm not too sure, but this is, the charts is indicating this, okay? This whole pattern is bearish, all right? So this is the dollar again, losing that value, okay? Going down. Now, this dollar's going down, and typically we see Bitcoin, do its thing, right? Because a lot of speculation going over into Bitcoin, but Bitcoin is in a bear market, all right? Bitcoin has caught the Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, and Freddy Krueger all at once. Splash. All right. You see that? That's what 50% of it, over 50% of its value, Bitcoin got smacked up. Really, really bad for Bitcoin. Okay. Now, those people who bought up here, they are stuck holding the bag, and they're still talking about hold the door, hold the door. No. So I tell you, people, stop going and running after shiny things. We've been in the market for years. We took the time to learn. There's no escaping learning. And, just because someone gets lucky doesn't mean that that's a strategy. Okay. If you want to have consistency, yes, you need to learn this stuff. But this is now we're seeing this whole, destruction in Bitcoin that's happening right now. And that doesn't mean that it's going to be the end of Bitcoin. Okay. It doesn't mean it's going to be the end. Because you still got people that's speculating. I see Michael Saylor, he's pumping up in this thing. I seen Kathy Woods, she is woo-woo. I'm telling you, she is super woo-woo. I'm like, I just can't follow her because she is into some mythical stuff. Like her whole thing is just crazy to me. She just buys stuff that she believes in. I'm like, where's her fundamentals? Like, but hey, who cares? People giving you money. The Feds is, juicing this thing. Do what you got to do. So anyway, they're piling in this thing, because they see this as a bottom, right? And so the crazy thing is, I was still showing Topaz. My mentor called this shit back in April, and I posted on the website. He called his target here back in April, and I was confused. Why he saw this target, right? Because the target that I had, again, my targets was right here, and I was like, he's super bearish because he's way down here, and it hit his target exactly. Topaz says ziplock and dropping. Yes, y'all are holding the bag. So the Topaz, this is her term, ziplock. Okay, you holding the bag. That's a ziplock bag. So you ziplock and dropping, holding the bag. Nah, you need to have a strategy, B. These guys have no strategy. They just blind following other traders. It's like, oh yeah, this person is holding, so I'm gonna hold. That is not a strategy. Okay, there are some smart Bitcoin traders out there, but most of these guys are not. All right. So anyway. But this is the floor. So you can see this this floor right here on Bitcoin. And we saw it come down. Boom. It touched that target exactly. Dead cat bounce. Boom. Right here to this target. And now we see it come back down. So I think that, just taking a look at Bitcoin, I think it's going to chop around here. Okay. I think because this floor has already been established. But again, Bitcoin makes some crazy ass moves, man. You get seasick watching Bitcoin. So let's say this line carries out this way. I see Bitcoin chopping around, okay, until that floor becomes more established. I think that it's a higher probability for it to chop around before it could make another leg higher. If it goes higher, there are some people that believe that it's going to die right now because, the Feds just announced next month they're going to be releasing their paper on the digital currency. And I've been telling you guys that the Feds is going to drop this digital currency and nobody was listening. I'm like, listen, they're letting Bitcoin get people, juiced up, what they call those girls, they call them fluffers. So, they get you fluffed up, before you go with your wife. They had, fluffers back in the day. So Bitcoin is the fluff. They fluffing people up so that the Feds can get this, digital currency. Now, why did the government want a digital currency? Mark Cuban came out with this analysis. And so if you're on Facebook, check out the Wallstreet Jackboyz video. I got Mark Cuban. It was Mark Cuban and Maxine Waters. It was the topic I took from a snippet from Game Plan Sunday, but Mark Cuban gave the whole scenario. And this is what Mark Cuban said. He said, listen, deflation is a problem. Okay. So it's one thing when money is in the system, but if people ain't spending the money, you're not going to get the inflation. So we need to force the people to spend the money. Okay. But you can't force people to spend cash. All right. That's why people have cash. Government can't see that, can't track it. Right. It's anonymous. But that is a value, that a real world value. Like if I want to do something that I don't want to be tracked, I'm going to use cash. That's what most, reasonable people do. You go book a hotel, you might not want your card on file. You just pay with cash, right? So stuff like that, that's why cash always have value, right? But in this digital world, no, you have no, you can't be incognito, B. It's all tracked. Now, because it's tracked, what Mark Cuban says is that the Fed should give people the money, but then set a deadline on when they had to spend it. So if we give the money, you got to spend the money within 3 days. This is what Mark Cuban's talking about. And if you don't spend the money within 3 days, as the Feds give it, so the Feds take it. So they take the freaking money back away from you. And so they're trying to create this incentivized behavior thing into to people. And so therefore you would spend the money fast, and therefore they can control velocity of money. Okay. So for one thing, they get the money out, and then they can control velocity. But this is why they want a digital currency. You understand? I'm trying to get you guys the end game. And Bitcoin is, again, it's supposed to be the people's money, but the government is the biggest issue to Bitcoin. So that I don't have a problem with Bitcoin, but I just think that the government is the biggest issue, and the government is not going to coexist with Bitcoin. One of them has to give. Either Bitcoin win or the government win. Either way, somebody got to die. And I don't see the government dying. Okay. So take that as you will. But this is what the charts are for you speculators out there trading. This is what I see on Bitcoin. Now, a lot of this money has been coming out of Bitcoin, finally shifting over to gold. And gold has had a nice week. Gold up to over 2%. You know, gold has been, you know, gold is like in a new bull market. Okay. I had this target right here, this red line here. I can take that out. I can remove that now because we've cleared that. We've cleared these lines here, but I'm gonna leave these lines here just in case gold decides to hit that 1900 target, which I think we can do. This 1900 target, it may decide to take a breather. It may bounce back down here, establish a new floor. So I'm keeping that there to see if we can establish a new floor right in here. However, it might not stop there. It may come up here to about the 1930, 1950, somewhere around there. So I got those targets there as well. But gold has been doing its thing. It's not a super exciting move here, but you know, it does what it does. Now, gold should be much higher than where it's at now, but there's a belief system that's in the market that the Feds are going to raise interest rates. And that's the reason why gold has been teeter-tottering. But again, you see we got higher lows and we got higher highs. So again, there's a new trend in gold. The thing is it going to maintain? That I'm not too sure. But when I actually dial this thing back, yeah. So we dial it back on a big time frame, you can see how it bounced off that 100. And again, yeah, it's clearly in a new trend. Okay. It's trying to counter trend here, right? Boom, bounced off of that. And bingo, here we go. So, you know, we'll pay attention to that, but gold is still good. Gold is still good in the hood. All right. The NASDAQ was up slightly, but it was, you know, again, not still trading under its 8 moving average, 21 moving average, going into a squeeze. This is a weekly chart. So that's not a bullish sign. We need this price to come back up. We'll see how it plays out this week. So when I dial in more on a daily chart, I like the chart on a daily chart a little better, because what we're seeing here is that 100 on the daily is actually holding up pretty strong. And so we'll see, because again, a lot of the sell-offs from last week, there's a lot of people that's buying that dip like Kathy Woods in them, right? But you can see consistently bouncing off this 100. Boom, bouncing off the 100. And so when we see a bounce right here, that's what we're actually paying attention to this week. We need price to break above this 21 moving average. And if it does, then yeah, we could possibly see new highs in the NASDAQ. Right. Well, it hasn't crossed the moving averages yet. So as soon as the price crossed the moving average, if it crosses up, then that's going to be the buy trigger itself. We can see momentum is starting to shift a little bit right there. And so, yeah, I mean, that's a likely scenario that we'll see happening. Right now, you know, the NASDAQ is bleeding down a little bit, you know, negative 24 points. But I do want to show you guys the S&P 500, because the S&P 500, I have been bullish on that. I continue to be bullish on that because it has not broke its trend. The charts are still very well intact. Now it's chopping sideways, and so this is why people been getting chopped up trying to do those trying to, you know, perform swing trades. And so you ain't been dropping butterflies or iron condors. You've been getting chopped up. You've been getting ripped up, ripped down, ripped up, ripped down. Like this is doing this on a daily basis. So but it's interesting. But when you take a look at this 50 moving average, right? Boom, floor. Okay, boom, floor, boom, floor. So when we hit this, boom, floor. I was telling Jonathan in chat room, right? Yeah, that was a hard lesson, but I was like, yo, pay attention to that 50. It's a key line of support. And there we go. And this could be forming a little double bottom here. I don't know, but it could be forming something like that. But I am bullish because it's still intact, okay? Unless price falls beneath that 8 moving average, then yeah. But right now, I think that we might be able to get this thing to come back up for now. But anyway, the S&P 500 is still intact. All right. So, and then we also did a iron condor on the Russell. Okay. So drop the iron condor on the Russell, and you can see, you know, the this is the range. Okay. That's the high projection, the low projection, right? And so long as this thing trade within this range, okay, boom, we're gonna make money. And so that's what I'm counting on with that, more choppiness. All right. We'll see how that plays out. Other than that, let's see, we have oil. Let me just take a look at oil real quick. You guys, if you got a couple of things you want to take a look at, I know we're taking a little extra time here, but it's necessary. I know you guys miss me. I've been going for a little while, a couple of weeks. It's been 2-3 weeks. I had birthdays, my birthday week and everything. So we'll make this special. All right. So oil, we got those Goldman Sachs targets that I had in there. Although the prices wouldn't be above and beyond that, went up to my 786. Boom, double tops. We can see that. And oil is starting to come down. So it's still holding this 50, this 50 moving average is still holding prices. So it hasn't cleared that yet. So don't be too hasty. But this could be a double tops drops. Okay. Oil can come down. So just, pay attention to that. Commodities, we've seen that come down. We've seen, things like wood, lumber. Okay. In fact, definitely looking short on wood, lumber, I should say, or timber. Where you see this crazy chart. Okay. This is inflationary. You guys got to understand that's inflation, man. These are real world goods. This is not like the speculation. Like this is, you need wood to build houses and stuff, right? But it came that crazy pop, and now it's starting to revert to the mean. So we're getting a reversion to the mean. Probably see it come down here to the 20 because it is trading under the 8 moving average. So we'll see it come down some. But yeah, might look at some shorts into wood stocks for the week coming up. Memorial weekend coming, people going to be moving around. That's right. So the holidays are, again, holidays is going to be coming up. People are going to be moving around. People are tired of, being on lockdown, and the government's removing restrictions with masks and all this other stuff. Although I've been telling you guys that you didn't need that in the first place. But who cares? Now you're free to be again, and people are going to be going out. For me, I've been going out the whole time. I haven't had any worries. I've had some of the best times of my life these past 2 years. Anyway, so yeah, we had, commodities like that, that's popping. A couple of names that I am looking at, okay, for the week will be, and again, if y'all got something you want to take a look at, just drop them in the chat. But American Waterworks, this is one that I'm looking at. I don't know if you guys remember the story. This is one of the first stocks that I bought, and this was years ago. And this is, I bought this company because of Dr. Michael Burry. It was, I was doing some research at the Big Short, and I was like, yo, what is this guy doing? And I learned that he was investing in water. And I was like, why is he investing in water? And he said he was investing in water because you need water to grow food. And I just really didn't understand that. I was like, what do you mean you need water to grow food? And anyway, I started looking at some documentaries and stuff, and they were showing how there are countries that can't grow food and stuff like that. They got seed banks around the world, and like really cold places, should there be some kind of fallout, they can get seeds and stuff, but they're going to need water to grow food and all this other stuff. So I was like, oh, so that's Michael Burry. He's super smart. So anyway, I ended up just buying into water company. So it was like $70-some back then when I got this thing. So anyway, but I'm back bullish on water stocks right now. They all pretty much look good. This pattern, we got the trend that's moving up, momentum shifting up. All right, we got this floor that's clearly established. We can see that bounce. We can see it come up. So I do like that. A good job, Reese. I see you got American Waterworks. Great. Yeah. In fact, I got a list. I'm gonna share. Let me see where my water stocks at. Okay, bingo. All right. So I do have a water stocks list. I'm going to share this with you guys. If you're using Thinkorswim platform, you can actually drop that. I'll post it on the website too in the chat room. Let's see. Bingo. All right. So you guys want to take a look at some water stocks. You want to get some, that you can take advantage of that list that I got right there and just load it up. All right. So I am taking a look at that. Let's see. Boeing was looking interesting as well. So the defense stocks, they're looking interesting right now. I was looking at, I think I saw an article with Virgin Galactic, having some progress on their space space tourist stuff that's supposed to be happening right now. The price is really low, came down from these highs, chopped around under that 100. Now it's breaking above. Looked like it could be seeing a breakout. We can see it going up, the trend going up. We're in the squeeze, was in this oversold territory. Can we see a bounce up? Again, we're talking about holidays coming up, Memorial Day and stuff like that. People should be traveling. We got Boeing here. So I am bullish on Boeing here for that. And then you can see this, look at that symmetry. That looks like this, all right? So that line looked like that. And the outcome of that line was a big boom. So we could see a boom in here similar. So yeah, Boeing, and I'll tell you about space because the Virgin Galactic, that's why I thought of Boeing, because I like Boeing better than the space chart. But the progress that he has in Virgin Galactic, people could see that as a buying a dip opportunity. You had a price that was $62. This thing is down to 20-something dollars now. Sounds like a bargain, right? So we are looking at a counter trend possibility of coming up here to this zone right here. All right, so that's with space. But I like the Boeing setup better. So that's why I'm looking at Boeing over space. But yeah, defense stocks are looking good. Ford, yeah, Ron and Topaz talking about Ford. Ford just, basically, I guess they're dropping their electrical F-150 truck, and it's supposed to be having crazy raving reviews. We got this big long candlestick right there, after that just pop, and it's above the 618. So yes, I am bullish on this as well. We can see how it came down, touched that 100 moving average. The technicals are intact. The story came. Everything else is history. All right. So it still could have it could pull back now, or it may continue to run up. In fact, the price of it right now is trading above its closing prices at $13.35. Closing prices at $13.33. So in the morning time, pre-market, we'll be in the chat room, see if it shows up on the radar in our gap up list to see, if we see some money flowing in there. Because if so, we got targets up ahead. But yeah, bullish overall on that. So it always pulls back. See, they're going to see Ron. That's another good tip right there, Terry. Patience is a position. So when you don't have clarity, you have to pull back sometimes, man, and practice patience, man. Just get a good grasp on it. So just keep that in mind as well, man. Yeah. You don't have to trade every day. I know a lot of people think, I need to be trading every day because you see these chat rooms and these gurus. I mean, they make money. So they're there for entertainment. They got to give the people a showing, a showing of blood. So they have to do something every day. But you have to manage your portfolio for you. And when shit ain't looking right, play the sidelines, B. So, yeah. All right. Rafiq. What's these names you got in there? Patience of position. All right. So I'll take a look at that real quick and we'll bring it to a close. I know I kept you guys holding you hostage. All right. So, okay. Water ETF. Okay. Yes. Okay. So this is what he's calling out. Thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah. That's another one. Thank you, Rafiq. There you go. And that looks great too. I'll definitely like that. I might need to add that. Might need to add this one. Shout out to Rafiq for that. Appreciate that. Ron V said 1 more hour. It's crazy. Oh man, it would be insanity. Again, man, we can do it though. We got the tools, right on the website, to do those things. We can host the webinars and everything right on the website. If anybody wants to, contribute to Wallstreet Jackboyz and helping out in any kind of way, definitely appreciate that. Just shoot me a text or email or whatever. Understand you got a direct message box right here on the website, so that's your DM. All right, you can communicate directly in the DM. All right, any questions? Hit me in the DMB. You got me right there. All right, chat room again in there every day, all day. You feel me? Like even when I'm not saying nothing, I am in there. Okay, I am in there. I'll be at the dentist. I got a dentist appointment in the morning actually. I'll be at the dentist office and I'm like, let me see what's going on in Wall Street Jackboyz. Feel me? But anyway, we're bringing the session to a close here tonight. Jonathan, make sure you hit me up. Topaz, y'all hit me up. I can get these books out to you guys. I truly appreciate y'all participation and help. I truly appreciate it. So Definitely got that. And then Terry, make sure you check your inbox. You'll get it in your email and everything. So I got you on that, my man. All right. Is Bazi okay? Yeah. I appreciate it, Reese. Thanks for showing up. Shout out to everybody. Chris, John, Mark is in the building. My man Mark is in the building. You know how we do. Mia, you know when we turn up. I gotta call you. We gotta cut up. Rafiq, thank you for showing up, my man, and thanks for the great tips. So I appreciate you being here as well. Ron B, the pattern god over there. I know he got some cook-ups, so make sure y'all check out. We'll be on the lookout for Ron B's cup and handles. He killing it. And then Terry in the building, he always come through with the juice. Y'all already know Topaz tipping out with the tea. She gonna let you know when you need to be tipping out. So, you ain't tipping, man. Listen, you ain't sipping, not with Topaz. But anyway, man, listen, it's been a good night. Thanks for the birthday shout outs, gang. And we'll catch up in the markets tomorrow, man. Y'all have a good night. Peace.